Well, preparations have been complete for the May 9th Victory Day celebrations and commemorations here in Moscow. It's one of the most, if not probably the most important holiday for people here in Russia, and indeed beyond Russia's borders as well, with the Russian community abroad and many in the post-Soviet region as well, commemorating the Soviet Union's victory 77 years ago against Nazi Germany, really with a mixed bag of emotions from the pride and joy at the Soviet Union's decisive role in defeating Nazi Germany to a real feeling of somberness at the terrible loss of life and devastation that war caused. 27 million Soviets laying down their lives during those terrible events. And the overriding narrative, both from the Kremlin and among people in Russia during those commemorations, is that war cannot be allowed to happen again. We must not forget the terrible events of those times, and more from the Kremlin, really, that we must not allow Russia to be threatened and attacked in such a way again. And of course, this year, things will be looking very different. The symbolism used already by Mr. Putin in congratulating some of the leaders of the former Soviet states, stating yesterday that today, as in 1945, our soldiers are fighting fascism, and victory will be ours. That's, I'm quoting there directly, that is what he said, harking back to those days. So the Kremlin will very much be looking in to feed into that historical narrative, to provide people with some sort of leadership and direction as to what's going to come next over coming weeks and months in the Ukraine conflict.
Daniel, there's been lots of speculation leading up to today about what Putin may say, what he may not say during this address when he makes it a little later on this morning. Is there any way of knowing what he is likely to say this morning?
It's been very hard to predict over the recent weeks what exactly the Kremlin is going to say or do. Remember back to the events of February 24th, when the Kremlin in preceding days was adamant there was going to be no military action against Ukraine. It then launched what it insists on calling its so-called special military operation in the country, justifying it with the aims of demilitarizing and denazifying Ukraine, portraying this as a fight against a government overrun by the far right. The president's speech will very much be a bellwether for what's going to happen in terms of Russian policy over the next weeks and months. And really, the speculation has been that, yes, the worst case scenario could be a declaration of war or a declaration of outright mobilization. Now, you would think the difference here is nominal, but actually a declaration of war, an announcement of a mobilization, would give the government the option to run the economy on a war footing, to draw upon millions of reservists and conscripts to really escalate its actions in Ukraine. Mr. Putin could go for the opposite, to announce some sort of nominal victory, perhaps the capturing of the southern city of Mariupol, which Russian forces have been trying to fully secure for a number of weeks now, or some sort of action in the other southern and southeastern regions where Russian troops are currently present. The Kremlin has denied over recent days it plans to announce a war, it plans to announce a mobilization, with the presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov saying it's nonsense, there's no truth in that. But of course, we have heard this before. So all eyes, both domestically and internationally, will be on the Russian president come just under 2 hours' time now, really as a marker for the Kremlin's upcoming policy and future actions in what Russia finds itself its most serious conflict in its modern era.
Okay.